Hi everyone, it's Jillian over here at g.Row Coaching, and today I want to talk to you about meditation. And I'm going to break apart the 5 big myths that I think are keeping people from meditating. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you the #1 reason why I think all parents need to be meditating right now, what it's going to give you. So I'll get to that at the end, but I think a good place to start for right now is to tell you a little bit about my story. So I've only actually been actively meditating for about a year loosely, probably within the last 6 months has been really active. And for the longest time, I had dabbled in meditation before, but for the longest time I had this image built up about what meditation was and how I was doing it wrong and how it wasn't for me, and I just couldn't, it wasn't something that I should be doing or could be doing. And the more I've been learning and researching and reading, I'm finding that a lot of the things that I used to believe are actually not true. And so I want to share all of that with you today, so hopefully you can start your own meditation practice. So before we even get into the myths, I want to talk a little bit about why people should be meditating, what all the benefits are. And there's a ton of research right now showing what the physiological benefits of meditation are, so the actual benefits on your body. So things like lowered blood pressure, increased immunity, weight loss. They find that the stress hormone is reduced, so you're actually able to digest better, more fluid platelet counts, or more fluid platelets, pardon me. So what they're finding is that people who meditate are actually less likely to have heart attacks. So all of these really tremendous health benefits that you get just by meditating. So that's the #1 reason I think why. But the second reason, of course, why meditation is so important is the brain, which I get jazzed about, and looking at the neuroscience piece. So in a regular day, you have tons of things that happen to you that will set off a threat response in your brain, and that triggers a part of your brain called the limbic system. And what meditation does is it actually lowers that threat response so that your limbic system is kind of calmed down, because when your limbic system is all aroused and going crazy, the prefrontal cortex part of your brain shuts down. And that part of your brain is where intuition is, and creativity, and complex problem solving, and all of the great things that you can use your brain for. So meditation actually helps you to process threats in your brain much quicker, so you can have access to that executive function of your brain more often and at a deeper level. So that's another reason why we want to meditate. And then the third reason I almost wasn't going to put on this video, but it's a part of me, and so I'm going to put it on anyway, is the spiritual practice part of meditation. So the feeling that you get from meditating, that sitting in stillness, the calm, peaceful feeling that comes, feels amazing. Like being in stillness and feeling love and joy and just being in the moment is one of the easiest and cheapest drugs that you can get. So there's this very spiritual part of meditation that feels wonderful, which is another whole reason why I think people should meditate as well. The calm actually goes out into the world and you share it with people as well. So there's a fundamental reason. Okay, good. So hopefully, I actually put meditation into the same bucket as like exercising every day and drinking 8 glasses of water. We all know we should do it. I don't think I'm telling you anything new that you don't know. We know that meditation is good for us. So why don't people do it? Why don't we actually just do it every day? So I think, based on my research and what I'm finding, there's like these 5 big myths about meditation that people think that why they can't or why they just don't. So I'm going to go through all 5. So myth #1. No time. Jillian, I don't have time to meditate. I'm working full time. I have to do everything. I'm so busy. Look, I totally get the I don't have time perspective. I totally get it. I actually had the idea to make this video about 5 months ago. So I totally understand feeling like you don't have enough time. So I could go into the idea of setting priorities, and I could talk to you about how your experience of time is completely relative. But we're not going to do that today. I'm going to save that for later. What I am going to tell you, though, is how long you actually need to meditate for it to be effective. And again, I had this picture in my mind that it was like you have to meditate for half an hour or an hour, it's not going to do any good. And that's actually not what the research is showing us. What it's showing us, I went to a conference earlier this year with some of the most highly trained scientists on meditation and mindfulness, and what they're finding is that you can get all of those physiological benefits and all of the health benefits, all of the brain benefits, meditating 5 minutes a day. not too bad. We could do 5 minutes, right? And then I kept doing more research and reading more books and reading more about meditation, and actually found a source that quoted 2 minutes a day for all of the benefits that you can get. Okay, 2 minutes we can definitely do. And then I was listening to a webinar put on by a man named David G., who is a trained meditation teacher through the Chopra Center, and he talks about the 16 seconds to bliss, which is where you can get a significant pattern interrupt in your day, enough to see a lot of the benefits that we talked about at the beginning. So 16 seconds, you can totally do 16 seconds. In fact, let's do it right now. So here's what this looks like. So you could do this at any point in time during your day. So what you would do is breathe in to the count of 4, and then hold it for 4, and then breathe out for the count of 4, and hold it for 4. So we'll do this together. I'll count you through and try to breathe through while we're doing it. So just close your eyes and find a comfortable place to sit. And then breathe out to get all the air out. And breathe in. 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, 3, 4, and breathe out. 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, 3, 4. How are you feeling? So I don't know about you, but every time I do this, I get this feeling of calm. And like whatever it was that was just stressing me out is a little bit less. Things are a little bit slower and easier. The science shows, of course, that you've just lowered your blood pressure, and you've just lowered the stress hormones. So cortisol and adrenaline are no longer going through your body if you're in a threatening position. So there's all sorts of benefits to this. So personally, my practice, I meditate 3 times a day, but each time for only 5 or 10 minutes. So I do it first thing in the morning, right when I get up, before the kids wake up. I do 5 minutes. And then I meditate again right before lunch, so that I calm myself down to help with my digestion, and I can really be really mindful about the food that I'm eating. And then I meditate for about 10 minutes right before I go to bed, because I find that it really calms me down and kind of shuts up the mind chatter that goes on about all the things that I have to get done tomorrow. And it's much easier for me to fall asleep. So that's my practice. All right, myth number two. I'm doing it wrong. I don't know how to do this. I haven't reached enlightenment yet. I haven't seen the green and pink lights. How do I know I'm doing this right? This is my favorite quote about meditation. Meditation is simplicity itself. It's about stopping and being present. That is all. So that's all you're doing, is actually sitting still in the moment, being present. There's really not a right or a wrong way to meditate. If you are sitting still and you are being present and only just doing that one thing, then you're doing it right. And good for you for even doing it at all. There's tons of techniques that you can use to meditate to be really effective. There's the 2 that I use the most are the following my breath, and I'll show you, and then one that I do with kind of a root grounding thing. So the following your breath one is probably the most simple meditation a lot of people talk about. So just following your breath. So just getting really quiet, closing your eyes, finding a comfortable place to sit, and then just breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. And just follow your breath and notice it coming in and out of your body. And then as you start to feel the breath lengthen a bit, my favorite part is when you breathe in, and you get to the top of the breath, there's this space where you're not breathing in anymore. Just before you start breathing out, I'm just like still, calm, and like really sink into that moment before you breathe out again. So that's what I usually do when I meditate each day. The other one that I use when I'm feeling a little bit scattered or lots of things going on, I have to focus myself a lot more. And so what I do is I take off whatever shoes I'm wearing, and I plant my feet really firmly on the ground. And then I imagine that my feet are like tree roots. And so every time I breathe out, the tree roots are sinking down into the ground. And then when I breathe in, it's like all of the energy and love and stuff from the universe is coming into my body, and I sit up a bit straighter. And then I breathe out, and the roots go even deeper, and then in. And you're breathing in all of the love. And I find myself sitting up straighter, and then breathing out, I can feel my feet grounding, and then up again and up again. So those are the two that I do to really keep myself focused. But again, if you're sitting quietly and you're being present with what is, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. All right, myth number 3. Too many thoughts. I can't stop my thoughts. They keep coming in. I can't get my brain to stop talking at me. So first of all, it's okay to have thoughts. That's actually a really good thing. On average, they say we have about 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day, which is a lot. But like, think of all the good things that come from your thoughts. Creativity, art, insight, the beautiful things that you say to your family and your kids, that all comes from your thoughts. So it's not a bad thing. The trick, it's not necessary to stop your thoughts. What you want to be doing when you're meditating is just notice them. So just be aware that you're having a thought and there's something that's come into your brain. And so very non-judgmentally, this is a key, don't beat yourself up because a thought popped in and you're doing it wrong. When a thought comes in, just allow it to float by and then come back to whatever you're doing. So the breathing, or if you're imagining the roots, or whatever technique you're using, come back to that. So don't beat yourself up for your thoughts. It's normal and totally healthy. Just notice when you have them. So 2 tricks that I use are, if my thoughts come up, I imagine them kind of like getting on a boat and then floating down a river. So they kind of float away and then I can come back to wherever I am. Or I also imagine this like really loving hand kind of like swooping and swooshing the thoughts away. So something that's like, what am I gonna have for dinner? Swoosh, breath. Should I go pick up Sosha from daycare? Swoosh, breath. So coming back to that. If you have a really hard time keeping track or staying in the moment of being still and like getting your thoughts to quiet and you're feeling really kind of frustrated with it, sometimes guided meditations can be a lot of help. So listening to somebody take you through something and guide you through, that can be really useful for people if that's a challenge for you. So can't stop my thoughts, smashed. That one's done. Myth number 4. I don't have the stuff. I can't meditate. I don't have a fancy pillow or a chime. I don't even have a timer. I don't have a candle to light or all the different things that you need. I don't have like a ceremonial gown. You don't need that stuff. You don't need any of that stuff. Now, some things are nice to have, and we'll talk about that in a sec, but you don't need any of it to start meditating. I actually have been meditating sitting on a Dora pillow for like the last couple of months because it feels really good. There's like a really good posture thing that happens. So you don't need any of the fancy stuff to get going. A trick that I use that helps to really kind of get in is I use my headphones, the iPod headphones that I have when I'm meditating in the house. If there's any kind of external noise, let's say Chris is watching a movie or the girls are still playing or whatever, I put my headphones in and then it gets that kind of echo effect so you can hear your breathing even more loudly, and it makes it much easier to stay on track. So that can be a trick, but you don't need any of this stuff. Don't worry about getting it. And then the last myth is I'm not spiritual. Jillian, I don't really buy into this energy stuff. I totally get what you're saying about feeling calm, but I don't really, I don't believe in a higher power or anything. I'm not spiritual. I'm not Buddhist. So yes, for a lot of people, meditation is a spiritual practice, for me as well, but it doesn't have to be. So Goldie Hawn has been doing a ton of work with mindfulness, and she's created a foundation, the Hawn Foundation. They put together a program called the Mind Up program, where they're teaching mindfulness to kids in schools. So of course, as you can imagine, they can't go into public schools and teach meditation because it could be seen as too religious, and that's not allowed. So what they're teaching the kids is mindful breathing or brain breaks. And that's actually what it is you're doing, right? Like beyond the spiritual piece, you're actually giving your brain a break. You're just going to stop all the chatter, give it some time to recollect itself, be in the moment and still, and kind of quiet all of the noise so that you can access the higher parts of your brain. So if you're not spiritual, then meditate because it's going to make you smarter. Or meditate as part of your weight loss program because it's going to help to reduce the adrenaline and cortisol hormones from being stressed out, which actually aid in digestion. So you're actually going to lose weight quicker. So you could say you're meditating because it helps with weight loss. So So there's a million other reasons to meditate. If the spirituality piece has been holding you back, then just do it for another reason. Don't make that the one that holds you back. All right, so those are the 5 myths. Totally busted. I hope we're all in the same space, that those aren't real, and there's all sorts of new things you can do. So here it is. The number one reason why I think that all parents need to be meditating starting today, the space. I call it the space. Okay, so at the end of a really long day, when you come home and you're feeling frustrated and there's no groceries and you're hungry and the kids are being crazy and you have a million things to do and there's laundry piling everywhere, and then let's say one of your kids comes up and accidentally steps on your foot, and your default reaction would be to flip out or to just lose it. What meditation does is it gives you the space to be between something happening and you reacting. So suddenly you're able to notice your feelings, notice your emotions coming up, and rather than just going into default behavior, whatever you would have done before, you can actually very consciously notice what's happening and choose however you want to respond. And let me tell you, as a parent, this is critical, a critical skill to have. There's something for me about being splashed. I don't know what it is, but when I'm giving the kids a bath, if Lily splashes me, it's drives me absolutely crazy. I don't know what it is. And bath time is at the end of the day, and I'm already exhausted, and there's lots of stuff. So meditate. A year ago, if I got splashed in the bath, my normal behavior or default was to take off, to yell at her, to say, I can't handle these kids, I'm leaving, and make Chris do the rest of the bath, or just be angry for the rest of the night because I was just so frustrated and they were so horrible to me. So what meditating has done is it's given me this space to notice when those feelings are coming up. So I can reframe the entire situation. If I need to, I can quietly leave and ask Chris to come in from a calm space. Or I can remember that it's often not Lily's intent to splash me or to make me mad. She's just a kid, and I can respond to her with compassion and from a calm place. Because let me tell you, there is nothing worse than the after yell mum shame. That shame after you do something wrong and you realize you've kind of blown it and you feel awful. Meditating will give you the space to notice that before you do it, so you can eradicate that shame from your life. Okay? So there you have it. So 5 myths busted. Number one reason why I think everyone needs to meditate. So we've talked a lot about all the different pieces here. And, if you're in a space now where you're like, okay, that's it, I totally want to start meditating. Let me give you some tips, some things that I found really helpful. So first of all, if you want to, this is totally if you want to, I found it really helpful, invest in something to kind of get you kick-started. So buy yourself a fancy meditation pillow, because really they are really quite comfortable, and there's some awesome ones out there. Or buy a chime, or get yourself a new app on your phone to time your meditation. Something to really say, you know what, I'm committing to this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm excited about it. Something to get you excited. Another tip that I found is to schedule it into your day and make it part of your routine. So lots of people say this when they're saying to add new habits about scheduling. And it's true, you do need to schedule it into your day, but be really smart about how you schedule a meditation in, because it can, especially if you're only doing 2 or 5 minutes, it can easily get bypassed. So really pick a time that you are free and can do it. I find that before bed is a perfect time because everybody is asleep. Don't schedule it into a busy day at work, because it could easily get pushed. So really think about a time when you actually have 2 or 5 minutes to sit quietly and just be with your breath and be still. Another one that works for me is right before I get in the shower. So sitting in the bathroom, I sit on the edge of the bathroom, just breathing deeply before I even get in the shower. 2 minutes, super easy. And then the last one the ultimate tip is, make this your own, make it fun. At the core of it, this should not be another thing on your to-do list. This should not be this thing that you feel bad about if you're not meditating. This is an act of self-care. It's actually the cheapest, least time-intensive, and most impactful act of self-care that you can give yourself as a gift. So every time you sit down, thank yourself for taking the time and having the presence of mind to do this. And when you're finished, thank yourself as well, because you're actually giving yourself a tremendous gift, and you're giving a gift to your kids as well. So I hope you have a ton of fun. I hope everybody starts meditating effective today. Please let me know how it goes for you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me or send me an email or put something up on the Facebook page. I would love to answer questions and to help you out if you need any help. All right, have fun meditating. Bye.